morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a good old look, ladies and gentlemen, because oh my goodness, there's so much news about Lost Abyss, which of course we know is also going to be news about Lost Origin. There are a huge amount of cards we need to have a talk about, and I'm not talking filler cards. There are a couple that might look a bit that way, that's fine. No, I'm talking about good cards. I'm talking about many genuinely great cards, and a few very interesting cards as well. It's hard to know where to start, so let's just start off with Kyurem VMAX. We know there's only one VMAX in the set. We knew it was going to be Kyurem, so you know what? Yeah, this sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. This sounds good to me. Translations from the lovely Antoine Boulet, who has spent like over an hour translating cards this morning. We are big fans of the lovely Antoine Boulet. And what we've got here is a V and a VMAX. We knew they were coming. We'd been told, are they any good? Well, the V's got 220 HP, which is about as high as we see. Free water energy 140 is underpowered and frankly rubbish. But for one water energy, attach any number of water energy from your hand to your Pokemon in play. Any water energy to any Pokemon. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not ideal. It's basically Frostmoth's ability in an attack, and Frostmoth is a stage 1 Pokemon. Now, I should say it's not exactly the same. Remember, Frostmoth can only attach to benched water Pokemon, whereas this can attach to anything. But generally speaking, I would rather just use Frostmoth. It's fine in a pinch. There will be games where you've got a handful of energy, and this is great, but it's not going to work all that often. But the VMAX is great. 330 HP is pretty good. It's not quite as high as we see, but it's high. And it's got a Redonk ability. Once during your turn, you may discard the top card of your deck. If it's a water energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. And look, we know we can make this work. We're not going to rotate until at least the beginning of next year. And we've got Oranguru from Sword and Shield. A basic Pokemon that sits on your bench and lets you swap a card in your hand with the top card of your deck. So use Oranguru to put a water energy on top of your deck, and then you are going to hit. And this again attaches to any Pokemon, water or not, benched, it doesn't matter. It's good. So yeah, this just gets you an extra energy attachment during the turn. It's clearly brilliant. It's very reminiscent of a couple of cards I was using in Joe Bernard's Cube at the European International Championships. Both Tyranitar and Walrein had Crush Draw, lets you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a basic energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. Difference being, you couldn't use it if you're affected by a special condition, and also, it went back on top of your deck rather than being discarded. But yeah, these are good ability. It's a really, really good ability. This is something to get pretty excited about, honestly. It's great. It's another way to accelerate water energy in a water deck, and it honestly can kind of work itself as well. So yeah, get excited, ladies and gentlemen. I really like this. The attack for free water energy does 120, discard any number of water energy from this Pokemon, and you deal 50 more for each energy discarded in this way. So the ideal here is 2 energy to do 220 to KO a Pokemon V, 3 energy to do 270 and get most V star, or 4 energy to do 320 and get most VMAXs. When I say most, all you need is a Choice Bout or a Radiant Hawlucha, and then you'll go up to 350, and you will get a KO on any of them. So yeah, pile energy on, bearing in mind we've got Frostmoth, we've got this, we've got Melanie, and then smash. I like this honestly mostly for the ability supporting other Pokemon, but it's got a pretty beefy attack as well. I'm giving it 4 Wassies, good attack, really nice ability, that sounds good to me. Now, what I'm really excited for in this set is Porygon 2. And it's not just because it's Okacheke artwork, although it is and it's absolutely stunning. Even in the pantheon of Okacheke artwork, this is top tier. And it's not just because I'm a huge Porygon fanboy, although I very much am. It's for the attack that for 1 colorless energy does 20 damage for each Pokemon tool in both players' lost zones. Yep. pile tools into the lost zone, and then absolutely smash. I love this. This is brilliant. Also 90 HP, so level ball is working. And we did see a couple of cards the other day that worked very nicely with this. We saw the Comfy that lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one in your hand, lost zone the other. Hopefully that'll get you a tool. We saw the Colrus card that lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, 3 go in your hand and 2 go into the lost zone. Hopefully you're lost zoning tools here. But we've got a couple of really, really nice tricks that will work beautifully from this new set. Like the ridiculous Rotom V. Now, it's got the ability Instant Generator, lets you draw 3 cards, and then you end your turn. Now, this is very reminiscent of a bunch of other cards, most notably Zacian V, lets you draw 3 cards, but if any of them are metal energy, you can attach them, and then it ends your turn. We've seen a few draw and then end your turn abilities. This is a good one. But for 2 lightning energy, you deal 40 damage. You can put any number of tools from your discard pile into the lost zone and deal 40 more for each card lost zoned in this way. So the theory here is extremely simple. You want to try and get your tools into the discard so that Rotom can then lost zone them in one big attack doing a huge amount of damage. And then you transition to Porygon 2 and start smashing with a single prize stage 1 single energy Pokemon, which incidentally is not resource intensive at all. So yeah, just play a bunch of tools, discard them. Well, there's a million different ways to discard them. Obviously, Quick Ball will work nicely. Ultra Ball will work nicely. Professor's Research will work nicely. We've got so many ways to discard. It's nice and easy at the moment. And then we can lost zone them using Rotom, and job's a good un, ladies and gentlemen. Job is a good un. But like I say, you can lost zone them with Rotom, or you can lost zone them with the other cards I mentioned earlier. But hey, if you want to get those tools, might I suggest Toolbox? Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. It's an item card. Reveal any number of Pokemon tool cards you find, and put them into your hand. And then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So, Toolbox gets the tools into your hand, so you can discard them, so you can then lost zone them with Rotom. And maybe this is enough, maybe it isn't, I don't know. What I do know is, we got ways to lost zone cards immediately. We're in a format where discarding from your hand is super easy. We've got Rotom that can lost zone the cards from the discard while doing a big attack. And as soon as you've got 11 tools in the discard, well, that's 220 damage. That's KOing any Pokemon V, and it only goes up from there. Maybe we can't play enough tools to really make this worth it. Maybe the whole thing's too convoluted. I'm personally very excited. I'm giving it 5 Wassies. I love it. I am going to test this deck so hard. I absolutely adore it. Oh, and while we're here, I've just been gushing over the Okacheke artwork on the Porygon. Rightly so. It's phenomenal. But I'm starting to get a real soft spot for Kuramitsu here. Check out this Porygon! And for those of you that don't know, Porygon was my original favourite Pokemon. Lasted until Mamoswine came out in Gen 4. Porygon is still my second favourite of all Pokemon available. And the combination of the Kuramitsu Porygon and the Okacheke Porygon 2, it's almost too good to handle. I think Porygon's first attack lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck or your opponent's and put them back in any way you like. However, I haven't checked that with Antoine. That is entirely my translation, so I'll check before I upload this video. So yeah, this whole tool thing is just making me super, super crazy, over the top happy. Now, honestly, they are my favourite cards that we've been shown, the Kyurem VMAX and all the Toolbox stuff. But there is other stuff we need to have a chat about as well. So there is a Trevenant. And the Trevenant says that if it is knocked out by damage from your opponent's Pokemon V's attack, they don't take a prize card. It's not the same as Miltank. Miltank stops damage. This will take the damage, but then doesn't give up a prize card when KO'd. Free energy, 150, and it can't attack next turn. The attack's pretty terrible, but as something to slow down your opponent and stop them taking prizes in a grass deck, this could be pretty gosh darn cool. There is a Sunflora. 90 HP is very low, but it does open up level ball. 2 colorless energy, 10 damage. you may discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand, and you deal 70 more for each one discarded in this way. Obviously, you discard 3 energy cards, you're dealing 220, which is the magic number to KO Pokemon V. And don't forget, we've got Hisuian Basculegion coming, which will combo with this absolutely beautifully, because for no energy, you deal 20 damage for each energy in your discard pile. So, yeah. Just discard them all with Sunflora and then come and do a giant attack with Basculegion. That could work out really, really nicely indeed. There is a Dragapult. Now, the Dragapult's kind of complicated. Also, T0 artwork, another artist I'm starting to fall a bit in love with. For one... Okay, the 2 energy 120 we can all ignore, right? For 1 psychic energy, discard any number of your benched Dreepy in play up to the amount of your opponent's Pokemon in play, i.e. if you've got 3 benched Dreepy but they've only got 2 Pokemon, you can only get rid of 2 of them. And for each Dreepy you discard, deal 100 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now this works very much like Hooper, which is essentially, if you discard 3 Dreepy, that lets you do 100 damage 3 times. And that could be 100 to 3 different Pokemon, or it could be 100 3 times to the same Pokemon, or it could be 100 to one Pokemon and 200 to another. Yeah, this is ridiculous sniping. Now, it's kind of awkward because you need to keep getting your Dreepy back, but thematically, it's Dragapult launching Dreepy at your opponent, and from a theme standpoint, I think this is absolutely over-the-top crazy good, and I love it. This is really kind of cool. Also, you can snipe for like 300, which is, you know, a little bit ridiculous. And if anybody's wondering, yes, you can snipe for 400 here. What you have to do is get Zoroark, turn Zoroark into the stage 1, evolve the stage 1 into your stage 2 Dragapult, and then you haven't actually used Dreepy to get Dragapult out, so then you can have 4 Dreepy on the bench, discard them all, and deal 400 damage spread around your opponent's Pokemon. I'm not sure that's a great idea, but it is something worth mentioning. Oh, speaking of mentioning, I didn't mention the PORYGONZ earlier. Weirdly, it's got nothing to do with Porygon 2. So yeah, 3 energy, 130 is terrible. And 2 colorless energy, choose one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon in play, devolve it by removing any number of evolution cards from it, and they get shuffled into your opponent's deck. I don't like it, but if I'm already playing Porygon 2, I'm going to whack one of these into my deck, because if I end up with an opponent who's got a Pokemon that's not KO'd, but there's an evolution under it that would be, I can devolve it to KO it. It's an occasional tech. Porygon 2 is the real star, but actually this could work, and I do kind of like it. Now, what else is very interesting here is the very first ever Spectrier and Glastrier cards. Oh no, these ones are good. Nah, they're not, I'm lying to you, they're actually pretty bad. But that's not the point. The point is, they are the first ever Spectrier and Glastrier cards. And bearing in mind, we got Shadow Rider and Ice Rider Calyrex back in Chilling Reign. A lot of people, myself included, were, I think, rightly starting to wonder if these dudes were ever going to actually get their own cards. And now they have. So, Spectrier them, single energy, choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on each of them. It's not good. Or, no, to be fair, single energy basic Pokemon, this is fine, alright? It's just not particularly exciting. 2 Psychic, 1 Colorless, 120. This Pokemon can't use Phantom Strike during your next turn. Brilliant. It's free energy. It only does 120 and you can't even use it next turn? No. As for Glastrier here, we've got 2 energy, 40 damage. If it's a basic, it can't attack next turn. Which, to be fair, isn't terrible. But it's only 40 damage. Even with a choice bout, it's 70. You're going to be 3 or 4 hit KOing Pokemon V, and most of the good Pokemon V at the moment evolve into a VMAX or a V-Star. There'll be some games where this works, but honestly, just use the Ice Cube from Evolving Skies. I think it's better, honestly. It does more damage, and it's actually sneaky quite a lot better, because with the Glastrier here, if the defending Pokemon is basic, it can't attack, your opponent can switch or retreat, and then they can attack, even if they bring up the same Pokemon again. Whereas Ice Cube blocks damage from all basic Pokemon, so they've got to find an actual non-basic Pokemon. Basically, it's a worse version of Ice Cube, just play Ice Cube. And then Free Energy 130, no. It even does 30 damage to itself, because the attack was too good otherwise? Nah, that's not it, ladies and gentlemen. That's not it. Now, they weren't actually revealed this morning, but there are a couple of other cards which have been shown that we need to mention quickly. There is a Shiftry, which I did translate myself, and I'm delighted about this. 1 Grass Energy, 50 damage. You may have your opponent switch their active. They choose if they do switch. As in, you choose if they have to switch, and if they have to switch, they choose which Pokemon comes up. It's not enough damage. I do like Single Energy 210. You do have to put this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone, but we've seen Pokemon and other cards that want to have cards in the Lost Zone, so you know what? Yeah, this sounds absolutely fine by me. Single Energy 210 KO Pokemon V, it's a Stage 2, and it's a one-shot deal, but it could be kind of cool. Now, speaking of kinda cool, there is Barbaracle here, and we don't like the attack Free Energy 100 damage, let's be perfectly clear. But we love the ability Lost Block. When your opponent takes a prize, they put it in the Lost Zone rather than their hand. I love this. It's so wonderfully spiteful. And it's a Stage 1, so you leave it sitting on your bench, and then it just ruins your opponent. Like, the whole point here is, you know, when you take a prize, you get rewarded. Because you get the prize card in your hand. And similarly, if there's cards you want but they end up in your prizes, you can take a prize and get them back, and that's lovely. This totally spikes your opponent, and I am here for it. I like this one. And then finally, we got Panic Mask, a tool that prevents all damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP remaining or less. Nice. The thing is, like, I don't know how often this is going to see use. Like, one of the obvious answers here is, hey, this stops Bunnelby, which is Lost March's best attacker. Which would be true until Ditto just came out in Pokemon Go. And now Ditto's going to be attacking, and Ditto's got 70 HP. Again, it would be quite nice to stop Magikarp decks, which is another card coming from Pokemon Go. But you're just going to be using Ditto. Like, any basic Pokemon with 40 HP or less is now just going to be copied by Ditto from Pokemon Go. And any Pokemon with more than that is, you know, in order to get them down to 40 HP, you have to, like, attack them but not KO them and then get the tool. This strikes me as one of those ones that looks really cool, but honestly, I don't know how often it's really going to work. Most of the time, you're better off just trying to take a KO. And honestly here, anything it would have stopped is now not going to be stopped because Ditto's going to come in and take the heavy lifting. Sorry about that. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you a big update, and I'm pretty sure I've delivered. We've got Kyurem VMAX, which could be an absolute player. We've got the whole Porygon 2 Rotom V thing, which I am super excited about. And then we've got all kinds of other stuff. Dragapult that can snipe for 400. The first ever Glastrier and Spectrier cards. There is a lot to get excited about here, but I want to know how excited you are. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.